In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the UK double crochet or the US single crochet. This is number 3 in my series of Learn to Crochet tutorials. If you'd like to learn how to make a slip knot or how to hold your hook and yarn and do the crochet chain, please see tutorials numbers 1 and 2. So to start, for the double crochet, what we're going to do is chain what is known as our foundation chain, and we are going to chain 11 stitches. So as you saw earlier, we're going to scoop through, yarn over and pull through, and we're going to do that for 11 stitches. You don't count the knot at the beginning, so that was 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. You should try and work nice and loosely. You can see there's a good bounce in those stitches there. When you're counting your chains, you don't count the knot, and you can see the V shape that forms each stitch. Count up one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. To work your double crochet, which is the first of the fabric forming stitches, you're going to work into the second stitch from the hook. So again, the loop on the hook doesn't count. This is stitch number 1 and stitch number 2. We're just going to insert under one loop on the V. We're going on the top side. Insert your hook. You're going to yarn over, which is scoop through and catch the yarn. Draw it through, pulling up a loop. You've got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through them both. And that is the double crochet. You can see the chain stitch that we've worked the double crochet into because that side loop has been pulled right up. So the stitch that we're going to work into next is the one that's just along. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, you can see now that that chain is pulled up. So the next one we're going to work into is the one just beside my thumbnail. Insert, yarn over, draw up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch along to the end. When you get to the end of the row, you'll see this is our knot and this is our last stitch. Make sure that you work into the last stitch. It's a very easy way to lose stitches. So insert, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through them both. And you can see now we've started to form a fabric. When you look at the top of the rows, you can see that there's a new set of V's representing the top of each stitch, and you can use these to count how many stitches you've made. The first one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. You'll remember that we chained 11 stitches. The 11th stitch is here along the side, forming the edge of the row, like the gable end of a house. So whenever you're chaining for your double crochet, always chain 1 more than the amount of stitches you need for your project. So here, to have 10 double crochets in a row, we chained 11. That first chain here is known as the turning chain, and every row needs to start with a turning chain. So to start row 2, we will chain 1, forming the beginning of the row, and then we'll turn our work. When I stretch this row out, you can see some very obvious holes just under the top of the V's of the stitches. And these are the rows that we're going to work into. So it's much easier to work the second row than it is the first row. Again, make sure that you work into the very first stitch, which is here. When you insert your hook, insert it into the hole, and you will see that you have both strands of the V over your hook. So yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through them both. Again, now it's much easier to position your next stitch. Insert, And again, you can see there, both strands of that V are sitting on the hook. You will yarn over to make 2 proper loops, yarn over, pull through them both, and work into each hole the whole way along the row. Once again, when you get to the end of the row, make sure you work into that last stitch. You can see here that there's a step. This is a real indicator that you haven't worked into the last stitch. If you're losing stitches as you move row to row, usually you've either missed the very first stitch of the row or you've missed the last one. So insert, yarn over, draw up your loop, yarn over, pull through them both. And you can see here we've got nice straight sides. And once again, when we count, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. And it's a good idea to keep counting those stitches as you go so that your square doesn't turn into a triangle. As you continue to work your stitches, you can improve your hand position. So again, insert, yarn over, draw up your loop. Now, I like to adjust at this point so that my thumb is lying just below those 2 loops on the hook. That means that when I yarn over and pull through again, you can use the momentum. You're pulling your hook through, but you can also pull those stitches down a little to allow the hook to pass through a little bit easier. Insert, yarn over, draw up your loop, yarn over, adjust your grip so that you're holding those 2 stitches by the scruff of the neck. By pulling them down, you open up the neck of the stitch into a sort of teardrop shape. That allows the point of the hook to pass through. You can see how the hook rotates around, is pointing downwards, and fits through those open necks of the stitches. This will stop your yarn snagging, and it'll gradually, as your technique improves, allow you to crochet nice and smoothly, which improves the speed at which you crochet. So always adjust your grip mid-stitch, allowing you to ease those 2 loops over the hook without splitting or snagging your yarn. So here now I've worked 6 rows of UK double crochet. You can start to see a pattern emerging. 1 stripe, 2 stripes, 3 stripes. Each stripe represents over and back along the row. So I've worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. You can see that the ends are nice and straight. Don't worry if there's some small knobbles. That's really quite typical for crochet. You just want to watch out for big steps, which indicate that you've likely lost or gained a stitch. Once you've made your piece of double crochet fabric, whether that be a washcloth or a coaster or scarf, you'll want to cast off. To do that, take your yarn, leave a tail that's maybe 15 to 20 centimeters, and just snip with the scissors, and then just draw the loop up by pulling your hook. Pull firmly. That is your crochet cast off. Take your yarn end, thread onto a yarn needle, and feed it along the base of the stitches. So you want to work with the fabric along the base of the stitches, down the legs of the stitches, move over and back, change direction a couple of times. Your end will be sewn in securely and your crochet won't rip back. Good luck! Hi, this is Fiona. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, why not subscribe below to make sure you get all my videos as they're released. Check out all my latest news on Facebook too, at Fiona Meade Crochet.